Similarly, we might consider what can happen if a new constraint appears, if something new is required from our system to operate. So let's imagine, for example, that we have an agreement with one of our customers and we have committed to deliver a minimum amount of shirts. Let's say, for example, that is 150 shirts uh, every time we deliver every week. So what we have now is a model. I removed the previous row because we're not producing t-shirts anymore, and I've added this new column, which is the minimum amounts, and we're going to impose that this value here, which is the amount of shirts we produce, is equal or larger than the minimum amount. So I'm going to open the solver and I have to add a new constraint. I'm going to just add that constraint refer to shirts, although we might do something so that this is a general formulation and we need to put a large number here, but I will just write that production, like this value, should be larger or equal than this value here. Okay, so I'm going to solve now this new model, and notice, look, that we have a value prior to imposing this new constraint, which was 100, and we are requesting the production plan to have here 50. Sorry. So the point is that we are going to increase the number of shirts we're going to produce at the expense of producing less pants. So we are forcing the model to find a solution that wasn't using before. So we are going to worsen that solution we used to have. So I'm going to solve now, and there we are. We are losing 500 euros. And now we have the minimum amount exactly that is requested from our agreement. Okay? Let's imagine that I write here like 80 because now I've renegotiated my agreement and I'm just committed to deliver 80. If I solve the model again, we won't be surprised to find that what we get is the previous solution, because we were already willing to produce 100 shirts. If we are now committed to produce 80, it's okay. We are already satisfying that new constraint. So we are meeting that requirement in our real system. So there's no need for us to change the solution. So when a new constraint appears in a problem, it happens the opposite of what happened with a new variable, because the new variable represented the chance of doing new things. The constraint means that we have to satisfy new requirements, so we might already be satisfying that constraint, that requirement, or not. So the new solution may be worse, or in the best case it might remain the same, but it cannot ever be better than the one we used to have. So by means of imposing a new constraint, a new requirement, there's no way we can improve our solution. Because a new constraint means more conditions to accept the solution as feasible, as valid. So the one we used to have might not be valid anymore. We need to accept or to find a new solution that will be worse. A solution that could have found before, but we discarded it because it was worse. So in all, new variables represent new possibilities, so the chance for us to improve, and new constraints represent a tighter conditioning of our solution, so that represents a possibility to worsen, or in the best case, to stick with the very same solution we have prior to that constraint.